Okay, I've got a question. What do hot chocolate cupcakes, a bench with a face on it, and the Sunny Scouts have in common?
Well, somehow, believe it or not, they are all key plot points in 2024's Scouting for Christmas. We've got a lot to talk about, Josh.
We do, Jennifer. We'll unwrap it all on this episode of Do You Watch, Would I Watch?
Sit down and watch, then have a talk with Jennifer and Josh.
Well, if you've been with us for any period of time, you know we love a subplot that involves baking. And we get a little bit of baking in this one, a brand new movie just out on Hallmark Channel as part of Countdown to Christmas, Jennifer.
That's right. Some of us love a baking montage more than others. Josh, looking at you. Big baker fan. But yeah, here's the plot summary. A single mom partners with her daughter's favorite baker for the holiday ball. So we open to a Bobo Backstreet Boys Christmas song playing, and a girl is outside of her school, and she's putting on her little Girl Scout beret, and then cut to Angela Bates, who's Tamera Mowry Housley, a queen in the Hallmark world, and she's running around like a crazy person, leaving an open house and chatting realtor lingo to somebody on the phone. She's late to pick up her daughter, as per the usual, and so daughter Brooklyn's like, I'm fed up, and she walks to the local bakery. Sir Bakes a Bunch. This is a terrible name for a business. Why, sir? Like, are you a knight? Because it kind of have like a knight logo. You bake a bunch. You don't bake a lot. You just bake a bunch. But when it runs out, it runs out. Like, it's just it's mixed messages. What did you think of this?
It's a choice. Clearly, they were trying to go for sort of a kitschy little vibe with a mascot and a character and the whole 9 yards. I'm with you, though. I don't know that it's a great brand, especially presumably a brand that has growth or franchise opportunities. We'll hear more about that a bit later.
Right. Anyways, it's a cute place regardless. And evidently, Brooklyn is a frequent flyer because the bakery owner, William, refers to the daughter, Brooklyn, as his number one customer. Okay. So we get right out of the gate. Angela must be a popular realtor because her license plate says number one homes in all caps. And you don't get that unless it's real, right? You don't pay extra for the vanity plate unless it's true story. Cuts to the bakery. The cutest cookies are being made. And William is played by Carlo Marx. And his mom is giving him business ideas about, like Josh said, expanding to another business or another shop or selling online. I think that would be kind of difficult. I agree with him it seems like a bigger ordeal to sell online with fresh things like that, but I don't know. And he's not interested in her far-fetched ideas. So Brooklyn comes in and she's trying to get some treats, but mom finds her, so we're going to be late for the Sunny Scout meeting. We got to go. So they take off and they're late to the Sunny Scout meeting as per the usual. They walk in, and the Sunny Scouts, a.k.a. Bobo Girl Scouts, are planning a community holiday ball to take place December 23rd. Who plans these events, Hallmark, this close to Christmas? I do not understand.
It's like the world shuts down, and yet for some reason in all of these movies, there is some major plot point happening right up against Christmas or Christmas Eve. It's
Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Like, our church sometimes has an option to go to the service on Christmas Eve, not go to a community ball with the Sunny Scouts. Do these Sunny Scouts not travel to see grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles and places?
Guess not. I guess that's not a principle of the Sunny Scouts.
Well, so the Sunny Scouts are basically like debutantes. I mean, they revere themselves in tradition and fanciful things and walking with perfect posture and all these things. The Den mom of the Sunny Scouts runs this place like a cult. I mean, in the opening scene, it's her, and then there's two other Sunny Scout adults behind her, and they don't say anything. It just looked like a scene from kind of like at least a sci-fi, like a Star Wars movie or something, like we were getting ready for battle. But it's Sunny Scouts.
It was very Stepford Wives in training is what the vibe I was getting.
I could see that. So we learn Brooklyn's dad is divorced from her mom. He's an archaeologist, and mom is always working, and she's bummed about it. The den mother doesn't give Angela a task to help out, like a room mom almost task. other than buy the forks, knives, and spoons because we know you're busy. You're a single working mom, and we don't want to add more to your plate. AKA, they don't trust her to do anything. Angela's like, why don't I just buy sporks and, save some money? And she's like, we don't serve sporks that are the Sunny Scouts, which I thought was funny. Who cares? Anyways, the Sunny Scouts, a very big deal. She then passive-aggressively offers to bring Brooklyn to scout meetings because Angela's always late. And this woman, you want to punch her, but also she made me laugh the whole time. I got it.
Exactly.
So I don't even know her name. I just wrote Den Mom the whole time, but here we are. We then meet Angela's friend, Sarah, who's also her neighbor, and she is the encouraging friend that we all need. So Sarah's kind of like a pseudo-aunt to Brooklyn, right? She's always hanging out at the house, offering words of wisdom, etc., etc. And then we learn, Brooklyn's dad can't make it home for Christmas because the dig ran long or there's weather or something. So she's bummed about that. She's at the bakery. Sarah bakes a lot. And Brooklyn's like dropping some not-so-subtle hints that William, the baker, should get with her mom because she wants her mom to find love. And then when mom comes to pick her up, this is another day, Mom and William exchange some flirty glances, and you get the feeling that maybe sparks could fly. Presumably, they've known each other for a while, right? I mean, this is not a new bakery.
Yeah, not a new bakery.
All the
It's a
time.
frequent flyer, and the whole timing of their relationship sparking the way it did was a little sus to me. It just sort of seemed a little out of left field. I mean, I get what they were trying to do here, but it was just sort of like this light bulb apparently went off for Brooklyn. She's like, oh, they should be together. Oh, a little weird.
Yeah. Well, people love falling in love at the holidays. So. Mom and Brooklyn and sassy friend are decorating their Charlie Brown tree, and we learn that Mom married widower Dakota. So Dakota's the little girl's dad. He's the archaeologist. He married Angela when he was widowed and adopted Brooklyn when she was 2, which I thought was an interesting little tidbit there. Brooklyn is drawing her Christmas wish, and it's Baker William and Mom dancing at the Scouts' fancy ball. Because if you draw it, it will come true.
In a Hallmark movie, yes, absolutely.
Brooklyn convinces the mom and Baker William, hey, somebody needs to do the treats for the ball. Why don't we suggest and put together a proposal to Den Mom that Sir Bakes-a-Lot should do the treats for this event? And they agree to work together on it. Now, I don't know why William really needed to do this. His business seems to be doing very well to the point that he's going to expand his business. I guess this was all just because he wanted a chance to get to know Angela more and work with her.
I think so. I think they wanted you to believe that he sort of had some preliminary sparks, like a pre-spark happening, and wanted to spend some more time, which is usually the mechanism that we get in these, where there's some little bit of interest and they do the inconvenient thing to get around the person that they are mildly at this point interested in.
Yeah. So we get then a mood board montage, and the 3 of them are working together on this mood board with lights and garland around it that they will present to the Den Mother to plead their case that he should do the treats. Okay. So then William is there, so he helps Angela fix the crooked star on top of the tree, even though she's an independent woman and she could have done it herself, but she almost fell into the tree, so it was kind of nice that he helped her. They're chatting after Brooklyn goes to bed, and they have a heart-to-heart over peppermint mocha. He's like, I get it. Being a single mom must be so hard. My mom was a single mom. But then he sticks his foot in his mouth, kind of. And he's like, I think she's an overachiever because she was like, I don't know. What did he say? It was like he was mad. He said something. Oh, she was overcompensating. That was it. She was overcompensating the fact that she was a single mom. And then Angela goes into a spiral. She's like, this causes hair frizz and stress, and you don't know anything about it. And da-da-da-da-da, and things get awkward, and then he leaves.
Yeah, after taking like a sip of his peppermint mocha.
I know, I'll be like, can I get it to go, though? I know I put my foot in my mouth, but can I?
Exactly.
It's pretty tasty. Sorry I offended you, but it's a tasty treat. So William's debating back at the bakery how to expand his business, and meddling mom is trying to help guide him, and then Angela pops in, and everything seems fine. It's like they didn't have a little awkward encounter the night before at all. I thought that was weird, but okay.
Yeah.
Turns out she secured a meeting with Den Mom on December 20th for a December 23rd Christmas ball. Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
They're flirting again, and she's like, hey, do you want to come to the Christmas fair with us? Okay, so they go to the Christmas fair and presumably are like kind of dating now. At the Christmas fair, man, they are getting along like peas and carrots. They almost kiss, but then she says, I can't. And he says, why? Which I appreciate, because usually if there's this I can't, they're like, I totally understand. And he's like, no, why? Why can't you? I thought this was going well. He leaves sad. She's upset, but she's like, I just don't think I should pursue anything right now. Blah, 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 blah. So he leaves the house. She answers the door thinking it's him coming back. And it's Dakota, the ex-husband, archaeologist. Turns out he was able to get away from the dig, like you do. And he's like, I need to crash on your couch. And she's not really pleased about this. But what else is she going to do? First thing the next morning, William comes over, barges in wanting people to test out his hot chocolate cupcakes. And friend Sarah was there, and Dakota is there, and then Brooklyn's there, and she's excited to see her dad, but it's a whole thing. And I did like Tamera Mowry Housley's acting in this. She's like, oh yeah, this is just, it's going to come out eventually. Let's just get it all on the table. And like, she was reacting like I think a lot of people would have reacted in their minds, but she was saying the things, and it made me laugh. Okay, so we got all these people trying to figure it all out. William's bummed because he doesn't think Angela likes him, and now the ex-husband's here. What's going to go on there? He mentions to his mom, he was burned by ex-fiancée Jennifer. Ugh.
Jennifer.
Oh, terrible villain name.
Might as well be Claire.
Claire
St. Clair.
I know. And then Angela reviews a contract with William for the potential expansion. Because, sure.
Well, she's a real estate agent. She says, I know a few things about contracts. I beg to differ. You know a few things about real estate contracts. You don't know about business law contracts. I mean...
And she doesn't even know about commercial real estate. She said that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was a stretch. So Angela and the ex-husband have a run-in with the den mother that oozes passive aggressiveness. And then ex-husband says, Angela, I want you back. Because he thought of her when he was hot and sweaty in the desert.
What?
It seemed very disingenuous. He kisses her in the Christmas market, because we're back at the Christmas market. And of course, William's mom sees, because she's like peering through some Christmas stuff, giftery. And then, so what she didn't see was Angela shuts ex-husband down, but she goes straight to the bakery. Oopsie doodle is like, if you want Angela, you need to lock it down because she's smooching at the market. Brooklyn talks to her dad, and because he's self-absorbed, he thinks that Brooklyn wants them back together when really she wants William and her mom to get together. And he's like, I talked to your mom. It's not going to happen. And Brooklyn is all upset and preteeny, and she rips up the picture of them dancing at the ball, and nobody knows how to feel. It's just chaos. This is what it is. Chaos, 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 chaos.
Chaos.
What did you think to this point, Josh?
It's sort of that classic thing where if we'll just talk about what we either saw or heard or thought, we could resolve the conflict pretty easily here. There's a lot of, I heard you say this, but those weren't at all the words that came out of your mouth. Or I jumped to this conclusion, and that wasn't at all what happened. And I was sort of like, let's do something a little bit different here. It felt a little familiar, well-trodden, if you will. What about you?
I think they did better than they used to at calling it out sooner. Like, but I thought this, or da-da-da. But yeah, it did still creep into those Hallmark tropes of the past, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
So William and Angela make the presentation on December 20th, the wound up too tight den mother. And she said, I'll let you know an answer by tomorrow morning. She didn't even, she barely tried the frosting of one cupcake. She just was too OCD about it to even really engage with it. And they're like, did that go well? I don't know.
Well, it was sort of a funny scene too, because you got this overhead shot of these 4 cupcakes on the plate, and all she did was rearrange them and move turn them ever so slightly so she could see them, and then she took just one finger on the frosting. I thought it was really telling, because you can get the sense that she's very type A, very over the top with the detail, and I kept wondering why. It seems like this thing is being held in an elementary school library, so it's we're really going to worry about the nuance of the cupcakes when there's literally library stuff everywhere for this fancy ball. It was a little bit of a jump.
Yeah, it has to be perfect. I mean, her daughter's diorama of the North Pole or whatever that was didn't get an A+, and it was like, it should have. It was perfect because I helped you. So, yeah. You wonder what kind of trauma she's putting on her daughter at home, too. But that's maybe the sequel next year.
That's the sequel. Yes. And a couple therapy appointments as well.
Yes. So, next morning, ring, ring. Oh, Den Mother's calling. Turns out she picked a baker that was throwing in a full animatronic display.
Whoops.
Wah wah. So she breaks the news to William, and Angela and William kind of end things because this was one of those scenes like they weren't like she acted like she didn't want to pursue things, but then she was offended when he was like, "It's okay, I get it. Like we don't have to do anything. We can just you can be the people that I'm the number one customer in Iran that come in the bakery." And then she was upset about that. That was a weird scene to me, but. She tells Brooklyn William didn't get the gig, and Brooklyn lashes out at her mom because you never accept help, and somehow this is her fault. It's a whole thing. Well, turns out the chosen baker calls Den Mother hours, like 6 hours before the big ball, and he has to cancel because he had his appendix taken out. How dare he?
How dare he?
Sucks for him, but you know who's going to ride in on a sleigh? Sir Bakes a Bunch. Angela goes to talk to William and begged and pleaded him to do it. He agrees right away. They get it all set up. And then when she goes to ask him to do this, he was almost going to sign away his life to a really bad contract for this business. But because Angela came in and wants to be friends again, he's going to not sign the contract. Because one of the perks of not signing the contract was to not have to see them all the time.
Yeah.
He had it bad for Angela. It was just, he was in deep. Okay, he's following his heart. No more contract. Going to keep the business small, and he's going to put on his tux that he had from his failed wedding and do the ball thing. At the ball, why is the Den Mother wearing a crown?
Because she's the queen, Jennifer. She is the queen of it all.
Was there a vote?
Yeah,
I think she just does this every year. She just is like, oh, Christmas affair, I'm going to put on my very regal bedazzled crown.
Very.
Thought that was very funny because they didn't even mention it. It's just there.
It's just there.
Like, everybody just knows that's what she does.
Nary a coronation. She just went for it.
Dakota and William cheers to being friends. All is well there. They're going to get along well because that's how that goes usually. And Dakota's like, I'll even take over the treat table for a few minutes so that he can go dance with Angela. And the daughter's happy. Angela's happy. Sir Bakes a Lot's happy. Everybody's happy. The end.
It's time for Gold or Coal.
Okay, it's time for our Gold or Coal segment where we each give 3 gifts. If you're new to the podcast, if there's more gold, we're going to call it Whisk Me Away. A little bakery pun. And if there's more coal, the cookie crumbled. Josh, I'm going to come to you first. What is your first gift for this movie?
My first gift will be gold, and I'm going to give some gold for this scout leader character and the plot. It was some much needed humor in all of this.
Mm-hmm.
It was a right choice to make this the quote-unquote villain in this kind of movie, and I thought that the woman who played her was great. Stepford through and through, and she even had a little bit of heart change toward the end, which I thought was a nice bow on that subplot. So gold for that.
Very good. I'm going to give some gold for the daughter, Brooklyn. I thought she was really cute in this role. And again, if you've listened before, we're not always like the biggest fan of the kid actors. I thought they used her well to move the plot forward and kind of push them together. But she was also pretty sincere. She had emotions that, yes, were, I think, age appropriate for what a preteen girl would feel. And I thought she was precious. So I'm going to give her gold.
There you go. I'm going to give some coal for this Dakota subplot. It was all just way too complicated for me. Like, I don't get why we needed such a complex backstory about Brooklyn and her mom not being the female lead in this. So the female lead adopted a daughter who wasn't hers biologically. It was just a weird nuance to this that I don't think we needed. It was a little oddball to me. And I kept wondering, in no universe would a woman like this and an archaeologist like that ever get together. It just was not at all believable for me in terms of that relationship. So coal for me.
Yeah, he was a big old loser. He sucked. And I did like the fact that she adopted Brooklyn. But it is also like, so you're a widow, you're remarried. She is now the primary caregiver for your daughter while you're out digging. Like,
Yes, that's exactly
maybe
the weirdness for me.
maybe you can still be involved. Even if they were divorced, he could still live here
Yeah.
like that. That's
Or get a research job at a university, something. Didn't like
yeah. Dakota's self-absorbed through it
very,
for sure.
very.
I'm gonna give some gold. I did think this movie was heartwarming. I thought it was cute. It had more funny moments than I thought, much attributed to the den mother character, but I was prepared for not liking it because I'd heard bad things about it, and it surprised me. I thought it was super cute.
There
Cool.
you go. Yeah, I'll agree. It was watchable. I thought it was cute for sure. My last gift, however, is going to be Cole. The relationship between these two leads for me just didn't feel, as we like to say here, earned. It felt a little, I don't know. The timing of it just didn't seem quite right to me. Presumably, these two had seen each other and met, and if Brooklyn was in fact the most loyal customer at this bakery, surely this relationship would have developed over time as opposed to the 2 or 3 weeks before this big ball out of nowhere. It just, I don't know. It didn't really feel all that earned to me. I didn't quite buy it.
I thought I liked them together, but I understand what you're saying. My last gift, I will give some Cole. They made this mood board to present to the den mother, and it was full of Christmas treats and cocoa and gingerbread men and da-da-da-da-da. But they literally were cutting out pictures from magazines, not of things that Sir Bakes-a-Lot bakes. Couldn't you have even on the iPhone taken some pictures? Because he, presumably in his bakery, made beautiful cupcakes and cookies and things that looked so unique and special and would make him stand out. No, they printed stock footage from magazines in hopes that that would sell her. Like, she'd never seen Christmas treats before. I think den mother, even if she doesn't eat them because, she probably watches her sugar intake, she's seen a gingerbread cookie before. She has seen a cup of hot cocoa. So why did they think this is what's going to really sell it? And then they mentioned they also had a PowerPoint that she didn't even watch. I would love to see
To see that PowerPoint, yeah.
One can only imagine how great that would be.
Yeah, that whole montage thing gave me very much flashbacks to social studies fair and science fair projects from my youth, where you'd have that little cardboard trifold board.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And I liked the montage. I liked them all getting together, but it was like, why didn't you use pictures of your own stuff?
Yeah, right.
I don't understand. Made no sense to me.
So the bottom line here, we had 3 pieces of gold, 3 pieces of coal. It's a tie. So we're just going to call it a Merry Christmas. And I don't know about you, Jennifer, but that feels right to me. I think there were some high points. There were some low points. I think at the end of the season, this is probably going to be one that certainly feels like middle of the pack for me.
I agree. And mainly because what they were doing here was more of a traditional safe zone Hallmark movie with the plot and the execution. It wasn't anything terribly crazy. It wasn't like Holiday Crashers that we reviewed last week that was very outside the box, that it wasn't perfect either. It had some issues, but this didn't take any risks like that. It was more in the middle, so I think it deserves to be ranked in the middle. But I did really like it. I liked it a lot more than I anticipated. I thought it was cute. I would watch it again if it's on. In fact, it was, my son walked in at the end of it, and he's like, I want to watch that movie. So we started it again because it has, Girl Scout and whatever. So I think it appeals to the masses, and I think that was really great. And that, friends, is another episode of Do You Watch What I Watch?
Special thanks, as always, to our good friend Nick Schwartz for our amazing theme song, and to all of you for taking the time to listen on your favorite podcast platform and watch us on our YouTube channel.
We got to see Nick last night at a little Halloween party, so it's always fun when we get to see each other outside of our Zoom calls. Even Josh and I don't get to see each other. So Josh gave me my hats. You may see if you're on the YouTube. We have our matching hats now. Very excited. Thank you. Best co-host in the world, Josh.
Ditto.
So,
Ditto.
Speaking of our podcast, you're here. Thank you. If you like our podcast, please leave us a review, subscribe, tell a friend. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. Give us a shout there. You can find everything you need to know at doyouwatchwhatiwatch.com. We are going to start posting a thing before each new week, saying what we're reviewing that week, and then you can leave your comments on that one post each week. If you have any, and we'd love to read them on the air too and include them in the podcast. There you go. we will have much to discuss, but until then,
May your days be merry and bright. We will see you very soon.